things that we don't understand can seem a lot more difficult than they actually are. Hello, my name is Michael Stack, and I'm the CEO of AMAX, and today I want to talk about the Experience Mod formula. Now, the Experience Mod can be an overwhelming formula when you're looking often at your eMod worksheet, and thereby can make us feel like it's a whole lot more difficult to understand than it actually is. So I want to talk about in this video a very simple concept, kind of step one in understanding actually what the Experience Mod is. Now, when you're looking at your NCCI Experience Mod worksheet, or many other states follow a similar type format. Up here in your worksheet, there's a bunch of numbers. There's a bunch of different numbers. You've got the numbers up here and here and here and here and here, all kinds of different numbers up here. And that's the part that can often seem overwhelming. What I want to talk about here is actually what we're doing here. The Experience Mod is simply a very simple concept. What are your actual losses? Actual loss numbers versus expected loss numbers. Actual versus expected. Actual versus expected. Actual versus expected. That is a key, fundamental understanding that you need to have, concept you need to have to understand what the Experience Mod is. All we're doing is figuring out what were the actual costs of your losses. So when you look on your loss run and you look at it at the end of the year, you're like, okay, my losses were 100,000, 500,000, million, 10 million, whatever the number actually is, that's what your actual losses is. So that's what goes here. This comes right from your loss run. This is the actual costs of the claims that were legitimate claims for workers' compensation. Compare that to what was expected of you. So we've got all these class codes, all these class codes up here, 0815, 6234, whatever the numbers are, all kinds of different stuff depending on your industry. There are actuaries that calculate what is expected for, loss code number 6251, whatever that number actually happens to be, what is expected in that type of industry. So based on everything that we've seen from all the different companies in the US over all the numbers of years, we expect for companies that are in this particular industry to have this amount of losses. All you're doing is comparing yourself to what you actually did versus what is expected in the actuary tables. And that's where the number, 1.0, and you're either going to be above that or you're going to be below that. So you come in at, 0.86, or you come in at 0.41, or you come in at 1.62. You're way above what was expected of you. If you can understand this simple concept of actual versus expected, actual versus expected, actual versus expected, you will really now start to understand this entire philosophy of the Experience Mod formula. If you can't get this step one, actual versus expected, then it's like my eyes are rolling over. This concept seems extraordinarily difficult to understand. This one concept is not. What actually happened, what your actual cost is versus what was expected for you to happen. That's where the number comes into play. And you're either better than what was expected, where your numbers are low, or you're worse, where your numbers are high in terms of your actual Experience Mod formula. We find things much more difficult if we don't understand them. The Experience Mod formula, while complex, is very simple in what we're trying to do with it. Understand this one step and you will understand the whole. Again, my name is Michael Stack, CEO of AMAX. Remember, your work today in workers' compensation can have a dramatic impact on your company's bottom line, but it will have a dramatic impact on someone's life. So be great.